welcome to the Gaia update for the Pisces new moon solar eclipse on February 26th, 2017. I'm Adrienne Elise. I'm here because I'm passionate about helping people have an empowered awakening experience. So I hope you'll check out my offerings at adrienneelise.com. Well, this new moon is just super, super potent, so I hope you can join me for the live activation. What's an activation? Well, it's when we get together and I'll talk a little bit about the astrology that's happening, tune into the energy, and then lead into a guided meditation to get your energetic reset to make the most of this energy. And this one you don't want to miss. I'm doing the live activation 2 days before the eclipse so that we can really make sure we're on the page with this energy. And so that activation is going to happen on Friday, February 24th at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I hope you can join me. Just sign up. It's free. Just put in your email and you'll get a link into the live activation, and that gives you the instant access to the replay if you can't make the live activation, or to watch again if you want to do that closer to the eclipse. So we're going to capture the energy of this potent eclipse, and I hope you can join me. Jump on the chat, let me know how you're feeling, and tune in with this potent energy. The reason why it's so powerful is because this is the last eclipse with the nodes, the nodal axis in Virgo and Pisces. And so it is a total solar eclipse, not visible here in the US, but it is nonetheless happening. And what that means is that there's this exact lining up where the moon blocks the light of the sun from the earth for a moment. So eclipses are really potent times, and this one is incredibly potent because we are having a last hurrah of this south node in Pisces energy. It's kind of like we're saying goodbye to the Piscean age. And so we're having a ton of Pisces energy with 5 planets and the South Node in Pisces. So Mercury is stationing in Pisces the day of the solar eclipse at 0 degrees. And Mercury is coming up to catch up with the sun. And so basically, this is the first time, or Mercury has got close to the sun before it took its retrograde and in January. And now it's catching up with the sun after all of that. And so moving into this Pisces energy, it's saying that the messenger is ready to understand. We're ready to understand in real, everyday, down-to-earth reality what in the heck has been going on in this Piscean age, and we've been having a bloom of this energy as the North Node in Virgo and South Node in Pisces over this last year and a half. But now this is coming to a close, and the North Node is moving into Leo in the middle of May, a very different energy. The North Node is what moves us forward, how we get to the next place, and the direction that we're heading and how we get there. And so with the North Node moving into Leo, it's a lot about expression and bringing forth the truth of who you really are in creative expression. Now, the Virgo energy is really about cleaning up. And so while these nodes are, the nodal axis is still in the Virgo Pisces, it's a great time, especially at this new moon solar eclipse, to really take an opportunity to do some spring cleaning, clean up. You are going to feel yourself slipping into patterns of the past. And normally what we do is we start to notice that, we get upset at ourselves, we start to beat ourselves up. But I want you this time, when this happens, because it's going to be happening with all this Pisces energy and all of this, Pisces has a beautiful confusion. It's a very spiritual energy connecting to the whole, but it's also the sign of delusions, illusions, and religious control. And so we're coming out of this Piscean age and coming into the strength of the individual expression. So the strength of the Piscean age was in the collective consciousness and religious ideas. The power was there. Now the power is shifting in the Aquarian age to the individual. And so the North Node moving into Leo Aquarius axis is kind of celebrating the strength of the individual that's going to bring us through to this new age. So there's a lot going on, and when you feel yourself pulled into these old patterns, what what is indicated to do right now is to actually let yourself kind of move into it. Pisces has a very dynamic but also confused and what's going on feeling. And so we're kind of in that. The beautiful thing about Pisces, it also rules our dreams, our fantasies, our ability to create from the collective consciousness. And so we can take this energy and go ahead and, instead of resisting those patterns and beating yourself up, take the opportunity to recreate a whole different backdrop. That is the energy of the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is the light is on, the light is off, the light is back on. So it is about revealing the truth and shining light on what has been hidden. Well, we've got a lot of Aries energy. We've got all those planets in Pisces. So that's Mercury just moving in, the Sun and the Moon, Neptune and Chiron, okay, and the South Node. That's a whole bunch of water energy, but we also have a whole bunch of fire energy with Mars and Venus still in Aries. Mars coming up to Uranus. In a 5-day period right around the solar eclipse, Mars first squares Pluto, conjuncts Uranus, and opposes Jupiter. So it is triggering this revolutionary change, generational change that has been trying to happen on the planet. And Mars is a fast-moving planet. It does not have a retrograde. It's our planet of the male part of ourselves and the warrior part of ourselves, the part that wants to see some action happen. So it's a very interesting energy because Mars is at home in Aries, kind of putting the motorboat energy, putting the motor behind this revolutionary change, while Neptune is conjuncting the Sun and the Moon in Pisces. Neptune at home in Pisces in the water sign. And so just a ton of this watery energy there with the South Node as well. And then all of this fire. Now Venus is really potent too, because Venus is in Aries and coming up, it's around 5 degrees away from Mars, but will not conjunct Mars because she's getting ready for a retrograde cycle. Now her retrograde cycle is going to go from Aries back into Pisces, back into Aries. So we're having this whole period of time until she comes out of shadow in May. We are having an examination of the archetypes of these of this place, this springtime, this rebirth. The end of the cycle is Pisces. Aries is the beginning of the cycle. It's fire and water. Now, alchemists throughout time have been trying to find the elixir of life, the philosopher's stone, and the energy of the alchemy, ancient alchemy, is all about trying to join the elements of fire and water. So there's a huge energy here around, can we use this new moon solar eclipse to create alchemy in our lives? Now it's going to feel like a landslide. It's going to feel like a flood. It's going to feel like after all this air and fire energy of the full moon in Leo, that you're being pulled back into the landslide of the old patterns, of the muck, of the heavy energies. Let yourself go there. Let yourself feel your feelings and make an intention. Set that strong intention that you're going there so you can release these patterns for good. Taking full advantage of the last eclipse with the North Node in Virgo and the South Node in Pisces. So you can just kind of tap into this energy, let the light go on, lighting up the landslide. Don't resist it, go into it, decide it's the end of these patterns, get the revealing. The cool thing about the Pisces energy being like, whoa, what's going on? And we had so much of this in this last year with the South Node in Pisces squaring all these planets, particularly with Neptune there and squaring Saturn. What's real? What's a dream? What's reality? And we're seeing this manifested in this whole energy of fake news. And we're all kind of suspended in this place of like, what's really going on? Because now we're not getting any news. And so what does that mean in your life? It's an opportunity to use that Pisces energy of the spiritual connection to the whole, the connection to the powerful energies of imagination and visualization and creation, and create your new world, create your new reality, and change the backdrop. And so as this light goes on, the light goes off, the light goes on at the solar eclipse, saying, lighting up that muck, the landslide, what needs to be revealed in order for you to completely drop those patterns and just kind of pull in a new reality, a new backdrop. Pisces represents kind of the illusions of the world that we buy into. And we're really, with Saturn and Sagittarius squaring up with Chiron, we're looking at the pain. Chiron and Pisces, all this Piscean energy, looking at the pain of the Piscean age and the pain of not knowing the truth, the pain of having to look at the truth that's been hidden for so long. So that's what we're doing in our lives. And how do we find these things? That has everything to do with Jupiter in Libra. Having just taken a retrograde, we're going on an internal journey of expansion through relationships to figure out the backdrop change we want to make. So it's the people around us that are showing us and bringing these issues in the landslide forward, but we're having this huge opportunity to change the whole background story. And that is indeed what happens astrologically as we shift ages, as we go from the Pisces, age of Pisces, to the age of Aquarius. We are going, it's kind of like changing the backdrop, changing the reality, changing the way we see things on an entirely different level. And so we are preparing for that right now. So you can really use this Pisces energy to dream a new dream. And part of that, though, is allowing yourself to face and feel the emotions and the truths and the painful truths in your life that you've kept hidden from you. And so all this fire energy is helping bring that forward. Whatever's been beneath the surface that hasn't been expressed is going to be expressed. So it's a very emotional and a very powerful time with all of this Aries. We've got the ruler of Aries and Aries, and we've got the ruler of hanging out with Uranus, and we've got the ruler of Pisces hanging out with the sun and the moon. So, wow, it's time to take some major action, you guys, on creating this new world. And it's up to each of us individually to say no more to the bullshit stories we've been fed through programming, through media, through hundreds of thousands of years. Hundreds and thousands of years. We have been fed a certain reality. And so it's time to change the backdrop. And that can feel like a landslide when things are moving under your feet. There is a general sense of uncertainty right now. But remember that before anyone takes a leap into the new, doing anything, there is a level of anxiety. And in a way, if you're not kind of feeling that a little bit, like you're pushing your boundaries, you know, then it's just kind of a part of what's going on right now, is to have that feeling of pushing the boundaries of what's comfortable and finding the comfort there, almost like a yoga pose, and being able to find the Zen in that moment as you twist yourself into a new reality. Yoga is a great example of, and I'd call maybe power yoga would be a great thing to do near this eclipse, and a great metaphor for what's happening. So huge, huge energies with this Pluto-Uranus square getting triggered, and all the change that needs to happen that hasn't yet happened. And is that in our relationships, our jobs, our friendships, where we are changing the paradigm of domination and control right here at home in our heart, choosing to see a little bit higher and love a little bit more. And that's what we can take advantage of in this Pisces energy, is that connection to each other and connection to the greater whole, where accept that there's always a higher level of information from what we're able to easily be able to access. So if we keep going higher and higher in our perspective with that Saturn and Sagittarius, we get less and less attached to the way things are in our everyday life. So climb up and get a new perspective, and allow yourself to come to feel your feelings, but also climb up to a new possibility. And what's happening here is an opportunity for a complete karmic release. And so that's where you're finding the pain of what's been hidden from you, and you're finding a way to forgive and love what's happening. And that doesn't mean being a doormat. It means being true and real to what really matters. And so that is a spiritual perspective available to us if we can step on that alchemical energy of this new moon eclipse and start to together dream a new dream. So I'm super excited to work with this energy with you and make the most of this most potent and powerful time. It is the last eclipse in Pisces for a long time. And so it is an opportunity to really understand the past age, the collective consciousness, and as we rewrite our story, we rewrite the backdrop for the collective consciousness. So thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the activation, the live activation happening Friday, February 24th at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And you can find the link to that below. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you the best on this journey into the revealing of the truth of who you are. And I look forward to seeing you there. I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.